everybody, and welcome to Illustrator Jones again. You mad fools, you. Oh, you're very kind for supporting me. We're up to 50 subscribers now, which is brilliant. Can't believe we've got that far. Only 950 to go before... No, never mind. This is not a scribble sketch. Although it does start with a scribble in a way, because all my drawings are scribbles at the beginning. Anyway, I've subscribed to a channel called The Drunk Review. And there it is up on the top of the screen for you to see and for you to subscribe to too. And what they do is they put on old horror movies from... is it the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s and 70s and some 1980s as well. But I like the ones that are earlier. Anyway, I've been watching his channel for quite a long time and I think they're brilliant. And of course somebody starts cutting wood outside behind me. Please forgive the buzzing sound behind me. There's not much I can do about it, I am so sorry. Anyway, they're going to do that forever, aren't they? That's just kind of... He's decided to trim the grass while I'm doing this now. Not that he knew that I was that I was recording my voiceover, but never mind. Getting back to the Drunk Review, yeah, they show all these old videos, old films from the cinema, and he puts in the middle... It's all done like as if you've gone into the drive-in in America. Of course, we never had drive-ins in Britain. Well, not that I know of, anyway. And all the adverts in the beginning are what they would have seen in the old 1950s drive-ins. And then there's an intermission in the middle, and then there's an end bit as well. And, you know, you've got a double bill of movies, which is great. I think it's brilliant. I always end up watching both of them. And it makes you feel like you're in the cinema in America, you know. And they would all sit there, wouldn't they, in their big cars watching this massive screen. Anyway, no surround sound back then, guys. No Dolby Digital. Anyway, I wrote to him saying, love the channel. Think it's fantastic, you know. Really liked it, and I've subscribed to it, and I like the videos I'm watching. Anyway, he wrote back and says, I like your channel too. Why don't you do an illustration of a drive-in? My own version, of course. Yes, can't be a sensible one, can it? Oh no. And so I said, yeah, all right then. And he said, well, what I'll do is I'll show it in between two movies, like an intermission. I thought, wow, that sounds great, you know, and he'll show it on his channel. Anyway, that's where this drawing is going. It's a drawing of a drive-in, but it's my monster drive-in. Can you hear the strimmer outside? It's driving me bonkers, that is. Of all the days they got to go and do that, they do it now. Oh dear, there's just... Anyway, so I thought, right, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do a drive-in. I'm going to make up some fancy cars. Of course, this is a drive-in at Steppington. This is not on Earth. This is out of my imagination. And they're watching this massive TV screen. So you'll see this progress now of how I've drawn. Which way do you think this is going? Is it real people watching a screen of monsters, or is it the other way around? Anyway, that's what I'm doing. So it's just, at the moment, this is a sketch. This is just roughing everything out. And hopefully... something will come from it. Now this is this is funny. This, I don't know if you ever remember a comic strip. I think it was either, it wasn't the Dandy or the Beano. I think it could have been Topper or something. And there was a character called Ursula the Usherette, who was this big, huge, ugly creature of a woman that was an usherette in a theatre. Anyway, this is not Ursula. This is Megalips, another version of Megalips, but with one eye and huge lips. And she's, you know, the lady that goes around with the ice cream, the chalk ices. And back then it would have been chalk ices and cigarettes, wouldn't it? Not now. Don't. I remember when I was a kid, in the cinema, you know, in the Odeon in Swansea, people on one side of the room smoking. That was the smoking section, and you were on the non-smoking section. Well, you're all in the smoking section. It's one room. How can you split it off by air? Anyway, that was a ridiculous idea. That was back in the 80s. But yeah, so here's the lady bringing around the drinks and the burgers, because they all had, unbeknownst to me, in these drive-ins, they had fast food centres. Well, they've got them now, haven't they? Of course they have. But they were like burger bars and things. So in the middle of these movies on the Drunk Review, you'll see these adverts in the intermission of people. Please go and have some lovely beverages from our canteen, not canteen, but our shop. Yeah. So that was the idea. So I'm hoping he's gonna like this. What I've had to do is make this into a 10-minute version. Oh, he stopped streaming. Shh, look, it's quiet. Shh. Do you see that? It's quiet. Anyway, I've done this version with a voiceover, but I've also saved it and reduced it down to 10 minutes because it could only be 10 minutes long as an intermission, and that's what I've done. I've already done that one because it didn't have a voiceover in it or anything. Oh no, I did put some music in it, but I've tried to make it look, you know, the other one, old and scratchy and slightly bleached out colour, so that it looks like a 1950s old advert kind of thing that you might have found with an idiot drawing on it. And it's this. It's a highly speeded up version of this. Oh, excuse me, I do beg your pardon. Oh dear, what's going on? Dear me. Might need to go and see the doctor about that. Don't know if you heard that. It was a huge truck blowing his horn. It's the noisiest it's ever been out there. It's normally very quiet around here, but no, not today. Not when I decide to do my voiceover. So yeah, if you've noticed the top now, see how I've changed it from a monster to a dude in a spaceship, as if they're the monsters invading a planet, and they're the scary aliens, the humans. So that was the idea. And all these creatures are in here, sitting in their cars, and they're all. I do remember seeing photos or films of a drive-in with people sitting on their chairs, but I've done it so that they're huge in their cars. So how they drive them, I've no idea. It's not real, everybody. It's just a drawing. And that's where I've gone with it. It's a bit nutty, but I hope the Drunk Review likes it, and I hope they show it in a video sometime. Be nice, that. But I just hope it shows it in a decent film. Oh dear. But yeah, no, they're good. It's good. It's a good channel. It's, it gives you the feeling of being in the cinema. Anyway, how is everybody? I hope you're having a lovely week so far. It is Thursday. I'm recording this voiceover. Thursday the 17th of August. And it's very, very warm out. It's gone really hot. Oh, look, he's gone to ink already. Goodness gracious me, that was quick. Yeah, so I've just made up these cars. I've watched enough restoration programs from America to have a little idea of what these cars look like. Although when I finished this one I'm inking now, it did look like the front was the back and the back was the front. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. So is everybody having a go at drawing? That's what I want to know. Is everybody enjoying having a go? Are you practicing? Little doodle every day. Well, that didn't sound right. I don't want to know what your toiletry habits are. Having a little doodle every day. You know what I mean by doodle? I mean having a draw. A little draw. Oh, everything I'm saying is coming out wrong. Never mind. Never mind. So, yes, I'm trying to think of all sorts of different monsters, but it was the I think the main one that came out to my head, which I planned, was the lady on the roller skates, bringing about your little bottles of Coke and your burger and your milkshakes. You have to have people snogging. So I was thinking, how am I going to do that? Just, people when they kiss. Well, aliens when they kiss, they look like a couple of plungers stuck together. Do you know what a plunger is? Because I forget, you see, so most of my subscribers are from the US. A plunger. Of course you know what a plunger is. What am I saying? I'm not sure if that's what you call it in other parts of the world. As for unblocking your sink and your loo. Oh dear me. What am I like? What am I like? Anyway, yeah, so I don't know why I drew the dude in the boot. I'm not sure. I just wanted to give it a slightly creepy feel. Somebody hiding in the boot. Have you seen that, in films, in old movies, the boot slowly, and you can see these eyes looking through. Especially the X-Files one, the one with, the fella that eats livers. What was that called now? I can't remember what that was called. Squeeze. It was an episode called Squeeze of the X-Files. Yeah, this fella used to squeeze into different things. Little holes that nobody could squeeze into. Anyway, I digress slightly. Inking up now. Now, as I'm doing this, all that's going through my head is how am I going to make that screen look like it's bright compared to everything else? Because obviously they would go in the night time, because what's the point of going to cinema or drive-in cinema in the day, because you couldn't see the screen, could you? It'd have to be in the night time. Sorry, I couldn't help it. Oh dear. I'll have comments now. Yeah, anyway, she's an alien, so what can you do? Megalib's the waitress. She's gone up in the world, put all the tentacles away. No, it's a different version. That one's done very well, by the way, that video. Well, it's done very well for me. It's been quite popular for some reason. Don't know why. But, yeah, I quite enjoyed this one. It was good fun. It's different from, the other stuff I do. I had this idea in my head. So if you noticed, I started the cars as just square blocks. That's all they were. They were obviously using perspective. There are lots of books on perspective if you're struggling with perspective, because a lot of people do have problems with that. It was funny, when I was a kid, my dad used to work for kitchen companies, and he used to draw people's, like you do now, you do a 3D mock-up of a kitchen or a living room. And he used to do a 3D mock-up, but it was all hand-drawn, pencil-drawn there and then. He would imagine what the kitchen would look like, and this is where the cupboards were. And he'd, of course, draw it all with perspective, and I used to watch him do that, and that's where I learnt it from. So that's where all the perspective knowledge came from, was from my dad. Of course, though, there are more, not just straight-on perspective kind of thing. There's a lot more. But yeah, so that's how I started with those. It's just their blocks, and then you just add the bits and pieces to them. Try not to get too complicated straight away. Just use basic shapes, and then just go over the basic shapes by adding your details. As I've said before, I have no right telling you how to draw. All it is how I do it, and it's not, compared to other people, this is a load of rubbish. But it brings me great joy and satisfaction, and I'm hoping it'll give you the same feeling. Yeah. God, it's noisy out there today. You'd think I was sitting on the M5. All the traffic. Yeah, so this is what I'm doing. I'm quite happy with my cross-hatching. I did go through a little stage of not using too much cross-hatch, but I've gone back to it now because I can't quite quite like the look of it. There is an artist, isn't it? I forgot what his name is now. Like he can't, well, I don't read his comics, but I can't think of his name now. He used to draw Fizz the Cat, was it? I think it was called. But some of his sensible drawings were lovely, and they used to have all this lovely little shading and cross-hatching. But a lot of them were very rude, so you know, I personally wouldn't read them, but can't think of the guy's name. But it was, yeah, a very, very clever artist. He used to draw with rotary pens, which he shook to get the ink out of. I used to use those when I was a kid, thinking those are the only pens you could draw with. But yes, I sped this up a bit more because it was boring doing it, never mind watching it, so that's why that sped up a little bit more. Don't want to bore you to tears, probably already doing that anyway. Yeah. Oh. We're going on holidays. We're going down to, is it Dorset again or Devon? I can't remember where we're going. But yeah, looking forward to that little breakaway. We always have a nice time down there. It's a beautiful place. There you go. And I'm not being sponsored by Devonshire Council or Dorset Council. It just is a lovely place. Yeah, so this is what I use the paint brush for, the ink. What do you call that? I forgot what you call that now. Anyway, putting blocks of shadow in, making it look like it's sitting in a bright light. Now, I worry about this every time I do this kind of thing. I worry, and I just think, right, okay, just do it and hope for the best. Basically, that's all it is just do it and hope for the best. 9 times out of 10, it's alright. You know? Sometimes I completely bodge it up and think, oh dear, what have I done? But this turned out okay, not too bad. You know, for this kind of rubbish. Yeah. I like this one. It was a good picture to do. I enjoyed it very much. Yeah, there's not sure if Furt will appear today. I don't know. I just wonder if I can be bothered inviting him in and him causing chaos and utter mayhem, because he's just a pain in the bottom now. He is. He is at the end of it because he does. I'm no longer on Patreon anymore because nobody liked me. But then again, I don't think I knew properly how to do it. I think that had a lot to do with it. I did try, but never mind. Never mind. It's gone very quiet out there now, which is great. Well, you know, as soon as I started recording, streamers, lorries, people talking and shouting, it's like, oh my goodness me, what's going on? Ridiculous. And I live in the middle of nowhere. But it's quite a busy road actually. But it's in the middle of the countryside in Wales. Aye, West Wales. It's a beautiful place though, Wales, it really is. Well, some of it's not. If you go down Swansea way and... But if you come up West Wales, Cardigan, it's a beautiful place. It's all field, rolling hills and trees. It's lovely. I've done some work for a lady in London recently. I drew some fairies in the woods. Anyway, and she's moved from America, from the US, funnily enough. Lovely lady. And she, I think, comes from a rural area originally and is now living in London, you know, the city. And it's like, she doesn't like it, she said. I couldn't do that. Couldn't live in a city. It would do my head in. First of all, is all the people that you've got to, you know, oh dear me, too many people for me. Oh, I can't think of anything funny happening recently that I can tell you stories of. I'm sorry. No, not really. Yeah, I think nothing really funny. There's lots of COVID going on at the moment, so that's a bit of a downer. Everybody seemed to think it had gone away, and now it's come back with a vengeance. My daughter went down with it a couple of weeks ago. Amazingly, we haven't caught it from her yet. No, she's all right now. She's clear now. So hopefully we got away with it. Now I've said that, now we're all going to be struck down, aren't we? With the dreaded lurgy. Do you know what you might not know what the lurgy is? The lurgy, I think, comes from the Goon Show with Peter Sellers, Spike Milligan, and who's the other fella? Can't think of his name now. Harry Seacombe. And it's the dreaded lurgy. It was. I think that's where I heard it from anyway. Whether it was there before that, I don't know. It means the dreaded disease or bug or whatever. Yeah, sorry. I'm having to do the colours now. I wanted to do them bright because they I don't know, in the 50s all the cars seemed to be very bright and vibrant colours, didn't they? Apart from the ones that looked like wood. What was that all about? Wood. What did they think they were driving carts again in the in cowboy days? Then again, they're really popular now, aren't they? People are actually trying to find those. Yeah, what works for me on these kind of drawings is putting the shading in first, figuring out where all the shading goes first, and then putting the colour over the top. I think I do the same, or do I, with watercolours. I can't remember now. I can never remember the process. I think I put the shading in first and then the colour over the top, which works in my head for some reason. You might find it different. I don't know. Yeah, so the blue all goes in first of all, which are shadows, and then I just go over the top of it. Got to be careful as well what kind of colours you mix with each other. Because if you notice the yellow car, in front of him is the lady with the tray, and I was going to do her little pinafore thing, little apron. I was going to do that yellow, but then I thought, if I do that yellow, it's going to clash with the yellow of the car, and it's going to look as if the car's extended or something, so I did it in orange. So you got to think about your colouring, what colours you're using. Now if you look on the back of those two that I've just coloured in their heads green, I've used a purple for their clothing so that purple and yellow will go well together. This is the bit now, this is difficult, trying to figure out what colours to use. Lots of very pale colours, pastel-y colours, to make it look bright as if it's on the screen. I was going to do some overlay over it on Photoshop, which would give you the impression of like a light haze over it, with that you're looking at a bright screen, but I didn't bother. Well, to be honest, I forgot. Do you like the teeth marks out the side of the screen? Well, they are on stepping them. They are monsters after all. They do get excited, so they chomp on things. The monster driving. Now in the final picture, I take that out in the computer and I put in what's it called? The drunk review monster driving, and so that it's it looks like it's part of that channel's footage. But yeah, I'll as soon as this one's gone up, I'll put up the 10-minute one, and you'll see that how I've done that and how I've added elements to it to make it look scratchy sound to the music and as if it's on a vinyl. Yeah. So add in all the Posca now. And how far have we got to go? I don't know how far we got to go, Chris. I don't know. Not far now. You'll if you've bothered going past 3¼ minutes, like most people haven't, I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please subscribe. Or as Mr. Does, Dan Does, if you watch his channel, it's brilliant. He is very, very funny. Dan says, like and subscribe. But I think he might have copyrighted that already, so I'm not sure I'm going to get into trouble now for shouting out, like and subscribe. It means like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Anyway, watch his new videos, very funny. Very, very funny. And his brother's in it as well. He pops up, literally pops up and then disappears again. That's Bill making stuff. I think about these three, the Drunk Review, Bill making stuff, and Dan Does, three of my favourite channels on YouTube. I always get a bit of a sore throat. I don't normally talk this much, I think that's what it is. Oh, feeling a little gassy. I'm just having a swig of water. Oh, that's better. Do you remember an advert for Coca-Cola? No, it wasn't Coca-Cola, it was Pepsi when I was a kid. Everybody baking and sweating on the beach, melting in heat. And this fella's got a huge speaker on the top of his, and he cracks open on a microphone, a Pepsi. Everybody goes, oh. Anyway, thank you ever so much for watching, guys. Here comes the final result after a little bit of fiddling in Photoshop. There it is. See, the Drunk Review Monster Drive-In. Thanks for watching, everybody. You're very kind. Maybe we'll get up to 60 subscribers. Bye.
Hello, everybody. Food here. Welcome to Illustrator Jones. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. Also, if you want to know when the latest videos is about to be released, please subscribe. Thank you for watching this video. Bye, everybody.